Hello, how to fill out Form 941 for 2024 Quarter 4. If you do not have the form on hand, you can go to irs.gov and search Form 941 and download the instructions and the form. And then you can just save it. And you open a copy and you get started. So you'll have the instruction, you'll have the form, and the third thing is important to have is your payroll record. So we have an example here that we are going to work with. And when you open the form 941, which is a quarterly federal payroll tax return, you'll enter your business identification number. You enter your business legal name the way it is on the EIN application form. If you have a true name, you enter your true name as well and your business address. At the right side, they have the quarter you are filing for. And since we are practicing a quarter 4, we are going to check October, November, and December. Remember, it's a quarterly return. Therefore, you will need to file it every quarter. You cannot just select all the quarter on one form, but one quarter, one form. So part 1 for Form 941, number of employees who receive wages, tips, or other compensation for the pay period. So pretty much for the quarter you are filing for, how many people did you pay? In this example though, we are going to say 2. And again, is good to open the instructions to have the instructions out with that you have skimmed through, highlight things that are important for you. That way, as you complete the form, you can just check. So since that's something you have to file for throughout the year, it might be a good idea for the new year. You save the the current year instruction. This one is 2024 instructions for quarter 4 for 2024. That is due by January 31st, 2025. But it's good to read through the instruction, highlight things that are important for you. That way, every quarter when you file, if you need to refresh your memory, you know quickly to scroll through the instructions and see what you are looking for. What I'm looking for though, I took note of that, is line that is $0, leave a blank except line 1, 2, and 12. And you do not round, you show your cents. With that in mind, so line 1, 2, and 12, if it's 0 for you, it's important to put 0 for the dollar area and 00 for the cents area. So wages, tips, and other compensation. So we'll go to our payroll report. In your case, if you do not have, you didn't pay any payroll during quarter 4, then you put 0 for the number of employee, and then you put 000 for that. And in fact, we can try to complete it. Let's do it this way. Let's complete the first session as if you didn't have any payroll. So we'll put 0 and 00. Line 3, federal income tax withheld from wages, tips, and other compensation. Then it's going to be blank, assuming you didn't pay wages. So our first part of this video is going to be to complete Form 941 as if you didn't pay wages during quarter 4. So line 4, if no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security, you check that box. So we are going to check that box to skip line 5 and go to line 6. So total tax before adjustment, which is the total of 3, 5E and 5F, is going to be 0, so we will leave a blank. Line 7, current quarter adjustment for fraction of cent, so we are going to leave a blank if we do not have anything there to report. Line 8, current quarter adjustment for sick pay, we leave a blank. Line 9, current quarter adjustment for tips and group term life insurance, we leave a blank. Line 10, total tax after adjustment, which is line 6 added all the way to line 9, we leave a blank because it's 0. Line 11, qualify small business payroll tax credit for including research activity, we are going to assume it is 0 as well, and we are going to leave a blank. Line 12, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit, which is taking line 10 minus line 11, and it is 0, so we are going to put 0. It is your tax liability for the quarter, so we are going to enter 0 there. Again, based on the instructions, line 1, 2 and 12, you do not leave them blank, you actually put 0 there if it is 0, if they are 0, 0. Okay, so we can double check that again, because the first section of the video is to complete form 941 as if no wages were paid. So line 1 will be 0, you didn't pay any wages. Line 2 will be 0, and line 12 will be 0. Okay, so line 13, total deposit for this quarter, we are going to assume you didn't make any deposits either, so it's going to be 0. We leave a blank. Line 14, balance due, which is line 12 minus line 13, and in this instance it's going to be 0, therefore you do not owe anything. And line 15, overpayment, you didn't overpay either, meaning line 13, total deposit, it is 0 as well, so no balance due, no overpayment, therefore you leave line 14 and line 15 blank. Remember, line 13 is the total tax liability you deposited for the quarter, like you log into your EFTPS account and deposit it with IRS, and it's going to be blank in this instance, assuming you didn't make any deposit for that quarter. So we'll go to form 941 part 2, line 16. So if line 12 for this return is less than 2,500, you will check that first box, which we are going to check, and then you'll go to part 3. So if you didn't pay any wages, then that will be line 12 will be 0, it is less than 2,500. You check the first box and go to part 3. Part 3, if your business had closed or stopped paying wages, you check that box. We are not going to do anything like that. Line 18, if it's a seasonal employer, you will check that box. We are not going to check that either. Part 4, may we speak with a third party designated? I'm going to check no. Part 5, you will print your name, and here in the title we are going to add the title and the phone number. You will enter that phone number. Because you are filing for your own business, you leave the pay prepare use only section alone, and you are done completing the form. You review it, and you print it out. You leave the voucher section alone because you didn't have any tax liability and you do not have any payment to mail. So you print the page 1 and 2 out, you sign it and date it, and you print another copy to save for your business record, and you mail the one you sign. So where do you mail Form 941 without a payment? Because again, you do not owe anything, you didn't complete the voucher. So you'll go to the instructions for Form 941 for the year you are filing for. Because you are filing quarter 4 of 2024, that is the instruction we have open, and we will scroll to the section that has the address. So without a payment colon, that corresponds to the row you have your state on. So without a payment colon address, that corresponds to the row where your state is listed. That is the address you'll put on the envelope to mail your Form 941 to the IRS. And you can just mail a priority mail to have the tracking and staple the receipt to the copy of the form that you have for your business record and file it properly. And just make sure you file the Form 941 for quarter 4 by January 31st. That is how you file Form 941 if no wages were paid. So now, how do you file Form 941 if you pay wages? In that instance, we are working with 2 employees. So let's take those zeros out of the way. So that we can work with the second scenario. So you have your business information entered, EIN and business name and address, and you check quarter 4 that you are filing for October, November, and December. Number of employees that you pay for the quarter. In this example, we are going to use 2. Total wages, tips, and other compensation paid during quarter 4. Because again, Form 941 is quarterly federal tax return. We are going to go to quarter 4, and total wages paid is 12,000. So in this example, so we are going to enter 12,000. Federal income tax withheld from wages, tips, and other compensation, again in relation to the quarter you are filing for. So we'll go to our payroll record. Total federal income tax withheld for quarter 4 is 711. Line 4, if no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security wages, you check that box and go to line 6. We are going to leave that box alone and we'll go to line 5. So total taxable wages is going to be the same in this example as line 2. So we are going to put, it's pretty much the total wages that you withheld income, you withheld social security tax on, is what is asked here, and is going to be 12,000. So line 5C, total taxable Medicare wages and tips is going to be that same number, 12,000 as well, because that is on that 12,000 that Medicare tax was withheld in this example. So that is column 1. Column 2, you will take the taxable social security wages times the social security tax rates. Half of it is for the employee, is what you withheld from the employee, and the other half is what your business pay. Combined is 0.124. So we are going to open a calculator. $12,000 times 0.124 is 1488. 1488, and the cents is going to be 0. So taxable Medicare wages 12,000 times, again, half of this percentage is what you withheld from the employee wages, and the other half is what your business paid. Combined is 0.029. So 12,000 times 0.029. I didn't do it well. 12,000 times 0.029. 348. And in the instructions, if you read the instructions, Social Security, the wage is taxable, is subject to Social Security wages up to 168,600, I believe, for 2024 for each employee. Past that, you do not withhold Social Security wages on that particular employee that you pay more than 168,600 in 2024. And Medicaid tax is collected on wages all the way to $200,000. Any employee that you pay more than $200,000, you will withhold an additional Medicaid tax of 0.9%. Your business does not pay toward that, only you withhold from the employee's income, and your business and the employee pay the Medicaid tax up to that 200,000, and past that you will collect the half of this percentage from the employee's income, in addition to 0.9% as well, but is for salary over $200,000. But again, it is in the instructions. You can read it through it. When there is a session that is not clear enough for you, you just scroll through the instructions locating that line and just read about it. So now we are going to leave additional Medicare session blank because we didn't pay any employee over $200,000. Line 5E, so total Social Security and Medicaid tax is going to be to total column 2s. So we are going to use our calculator here. 348 plus 1488 is 1836. So we are going to enter 1836, and then we are going to open our, no, hold on, line 3, yeah, line 5s. What we will put there. So at this point, we can bring our payroll and move it to the side. to see what we calculated, if we calculated right. So for quarter 4, we have 711. In fact, we have line 2, 12,000. We have 711. We have 1488 for Social Security withheld. We have 348 for Medicare tax withheld. And then we have 1836 for both Social Security and Medicare tax. Okay. Line 5F, tax due on unreported tips, you are going to leave a blank. Line 6, total tax before adjustment is going to be to take line 3 plus line 5E and line 5F. So we are going to take our calculator here. 1836 plus 711. It's going to be 2547. 2547. And we will check it again. 2547. So line 7, current quarter adjustment for fraction of cents. We are going to leave a blank. But again, that's where you can make adjustment due to rounding there between what you actually withheld and what the calculation is saying that you should have. If there is some fraction of cents due to rounding issue, that's where you will try to fix that to reconcile the actual to what you are calculating. Line 8, current quarter adjustment for sick pay. We are going to leave a blank in this example. Line 9, current quarter adjustment for tips and group term life insurance. We are going to leave a blank. Line 10, total tax after adjustment is line 6 plus all the line all the way to line 9, and we are going to have 2547 in this example. Line 11, qualified business, small business payroll, tax credit for increasing research activity. In this example, we are going to leave a blank. If that's something you think you qualify for, Form 8974 will be completed and attached as well. In this example, we are going to leave a blank. Line 12, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credits is line 10 minus line 11. And in this example, it's going to be 2547 because our line 11 is 0. So line 13, total deposit for this quarter, including overpayment from prior quarter. And here we are just going to assume that amount tax liability is the exact amount we deposited. So 2547. So that brings us to line 14, balance due. So if line 12 is more than line 13, so line 12 minus line 13, if line 12 is more than line 13, you'll have an amount that you owe and you'll put it on line 14. Because again, line 13, it is the tax, the payroll tax liability that you deposited in your EFTPS account, like you deposited with IRS for the quarter. Excuse me. And if the amount you deposited is more than your total liability for the quarter, you have overpayment. You'll put it on line 15 and you'll check whether you want them to keep it for you to apply it to another return, or if you want them to send you a refund. You check one of the two boxes. In this example, where line 12, the total tax liability equal line 13, the total tax deposited, the difference between the two is 0. Therefore, we do not put anything on line 14. We do not put anything on line 15. Again, let's pull our payroll record here out to see the total. Okay, total tax liability 2747. It is accurate. total tax before adjustment. Okay, so now we'll go to part 2. It's something I didn't mention it before when I was talking about how to complete form 941 if no wages was paid or were paid. Is part 2. You have to remember to enter your business name and your business EIN number just the way you have it on page 1. Okay, so now again, in this example where we are entering dollar amount, part 2, you enter your business name, your EIN on the top of page 2. So part 2, form 941, if your line 12 is less than 2,500, you'll check that box. But in our example though, it is more than 2,500. It is 2,547, is $47 more, or $48 more. Okay, so let's see what else they are saying here. On the return for the prior quarter was less than 2,500 and you incur $100,000 next day deposit obligation during the current quarter. If line 12 for the prior quarter was less than 2,500 but line 12 for on this return is $100,000 or more, you must provide a record of your federal tax liability. If your monthly depositor, complete the deposit schedule below. If you are semi weekly schedule depositor, attach schedule B. Okay, so we are now going to check the first box because the total liability for line 12 is $2,547, so about $48 more to qualify for that. Therefore, we are going to check one of the two other options, and to check it will be based on the type of depositor that you are, and that's something you choose at the beginning of the year based on a certain criteria. And in this example, it is the monthly deposit schedule that we choose for this example. Therefore, we will check that. If you are a semi-weekly depositor, you will check the other one, and then you will complete schedule B. Let's see if I have some instructions on so you will use 2 years pretty much. Let me see here, and it's related to 2024, so you will use July 30 last year to July 1st of this year before last year, if that makes any sense to you. But pretty much you'll pull your 4 quarters of form 941 line 12 together. If it's equal or less than $50,000, you will choose the monthly deposit schedule, and if it's more than $50,000, then you are semi-weekly deposit schedule, and that is the lock back for 2024 that you will need to work with. And if you are new employer, then you will be a monthly deposit scheduler in the sense that your look back will be 0, which is less than $50,000. Okay, so I believe there was something else I like to point out when I was thinking. Oh, schedule B. So let's see if we can, I don't know if I have schedule B. Yeah, here. Let's open it and take a look at it. If you are semi-weekly depositor, pretty much you'll be listing your tax liability by day. So the Schedule B, it is 3 months type of schedule. So you'll have 31 days for month 1 and 2 and 3 for you to put your tax liability by day in it. And the total of it will match your line 12 for all the quarters. And that is Schedule B, Form 941, that will be required to attach if you check the third box that you are a semi-weekly scheduled depositor any part of this quarter 4 that we are filing for. In our example where we check a monthly deposit schedule, again in a quarter you have 3 months, so therefore they are asking the total for each month, and the total will match our line 12, 25, 47. So we'll pull our payroll record. So based on your deposit schedule, it is important you track your payroll in a way that you'll be able to complete the payroll returns information that will be asked of you. Okay, so we have the last 2 months here, and total tax before adjustment is going to be $849 for the last 3 months. So $849. So we'll come here and we'll put $849. $849. $849. And we can use our calculator to 8 times 2, 2547. So that is going to be 547. So the total liability for the quarter must equal line 12. 25.7. Can be actually so line 16. Again, don't forget to check one of 3 boxes. 116. Part 3. Tell us about business. So line 17 is the business close, we leave a blank. Line 18 is the seasonal employer, we leave a blank. Part 4. We speak with a third party designator, we just put no there. If you put yes, you will complete the information requested, and the person will be contacted or might be contacted, but just related to this particular form for this particular year. Part 5, you'll put your name, you the business owner, your title, your phone number. You review the form, you print it out, you sign, you date, you make a copy for your business record, and you mail page 1 and 2 to IRS. You do not complete the voucher section, and by the way, you leave the pay preparator use only section alone as well, because you are filing for your own business. And the voucher section, you leave it alone. If you are making deposits, if your line 14 has an amount you owe, you must well just log into the account and make a deposit to add the payment to the form, or make a payment, in your EFTPS account instead of adding a payment to the return. There are instructions on in which case you are okay to pay with the form 941, and in which case it is not okay. Again, if you want to add payment, you might read about it, but I will suggest you register use create an account EFTS and via that route. But yeah, so now that you are done completing Form 941 page 1 and sign it, review sign date, you make a quick mail. So again, this form that completed with the add payment. For your instructions, you will use without payment session, without a payment. Address about the role your state is. So payment the row correspond to the list where your state is listed. That is what you will use to mail your Form 941 to IRS. You can just mail a private mail. Alternatively, but if you to add payment, then you will get voucher. And you as the amount there. You read out your instructions to see how you and authorize making the form instead of depositing or pay online the EFTPS system. And you complete, I would suggest you create a check. You have more space than a money order, and you pretty much into Form 941 for Q4 2024 on the check, and you add your business EIN. Make sure you have your business name on the check if it's now on it already, and you make sure you pay to United States Treasury, and pretty much follow the instructions listed to complete the check, business check. And you do not staple it to the voucher, and you do not staple the voucher to Form 4 pages. You staple those 2 pages together, and that's attachment required. You staple voucher to check, you do not staple voucher to Form 941, and you do not staple the check to Form 941. You'll have 3 different pieces: Form 941, Form 941V, and the check. If you are completing Form 941V, the voucher, you enter your business EIN, the dollar amount on line 14 of Form 941 that you are paying, your business name, address, the quarter that voucher is for, and then you complete the check for that amount. The check and the amount on the voucher needs to match, and then you'll add it to Form 941 envelope, and you will mail it to with a payment address that correspond to the state to the row where your state is listed. You will use the address in the column with a payment in that instance. But if you made deposit and you are now adding payment to the Form 941, you make sure you use without a payment address that correspond to the row where your state is listed, and then you choose the right address for Q4. This conclude how you complete Form 941 for Q4 2024 that is due by January 31st of 2025. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching our videos. We thank you very much for your time, for all your comments, and we thank you very much. You all subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiavi Liberman, YouTube channel, and Nina Sub.com, our blog. On our channel and different ways to make money to reach your financial independence, and employer to provide for your family. And filing your own business tax return is one way to keep your business expenses low. Thank you. You can check our website, our blog, website ninasub.com, under free downloads for free payroll worksheets that you can use. This is a spreadsheet that you can use to track your payrolls. Just make sure pretty much helping you keep you have been paying, and this can track it by month for you, not by day. Therefore, if you are see my weekly depositor, this spreadsheet may not work well for you. You'll have to make adjustment whereby adding another row and pull report from your entry page to it, where you can pull your daily payment to it. It will your daily record, but it's not designed that way. It will pull your report by the month with it, and then by the quarter to be able to file your different type of returns that are related, including W2 and W3 with Social Security Administration, Form 941, Form 940, unemployment tax return, And if you file Form 944, you can use it as well. And Form 944 is annual federal employer annual federal tax return instead of Form 941 employer quarterly federal tax return. Is either